how we use social media. It's not just about the platforms themselves.
To the preservation of the national unity and democratic stability.
Water is life, water is an essential service, and we must have to carry out the residents.
Local communities are not only vital to the growth of society, but they also form the bedrock of humanitarian development.
The reporter is a news and current affairs program that goes beyond the headlines, bringing you reporters' perspective from the field to give first-hand accounts and in-depth analysis of unfolding issues, and all the ensuring balance and credible and comprehensive storytelling from the point of coverage to our screen to give you the solid information of what went down on the field. Welcome once again. I am Aniti Patrick. Let's quickly tell you a lot of stories happening. The presidential nominee for chairmanship position on the board of Unclaimed Funds Trust Fund, Obehi Okafor, has assured the Senate of productive investments of fund if her appointment is confirmed. The nominee gave the assurance during her screening by the Senate's committees on finance, banking, insurance, and other financial institutions. Well, Tom Sigiba will bring us that story, but let's quickly give you other stories before we bring top 6 reports and tell you, because this is supposed to tell you stories happening around here. Meanwhile, the National Pension Commission is renewing efforts to expand pension coverage across Nigeria with a new plan designed to bring millions of informal workers into the retirement savings system. At the Pension Correspondents Association of Nigeria annual conference in Abuja, PENCOM outlined its strategy to capture nearly 80 million Nigerians through its revamped personal pension plan. Well, that's one of the things that went down. Also, there's a whole lot of happening around the naval officer and the minister of the FCT. Well, a lot of mixed reaction has trailed that particular story. Reports coming from every angle, looking at the pros and cons and what went down with that particular story. All of that conversation is part of what our correspondent from the field will bring us first-hand information, and will bring you all the details with in-depth analysis, looking at the way forward. What could have been the best action or approach to all of these things? These and more we'll take after this time out. Please stay with us.
Be mindful of how we use social media. It's not just about the platforms themselves.
To the preservation of the national unity and democratic stability.
Water is life, water is an essential service, and we must have to carry out the residents.
Local communities are not only vital to the growth of society, but they also form the bedrock of humanitarian development.
We're going to bring our correspondents to talk about the issue of the National Pension Commission renewing efforts to expand pension coverage across Nigeria with a new plan designed to bring millions of informal workers into the retirement savings plan. Well, at the Pension Correspondents Association of Nigeria annual conference in Abuja, PENCOM outlined its strategy to capture nearly 80 million Nigerians through its revamped personal pension plan. Here's Kike Lomo Okere with the details.
For years, Nigerians pay. For years, Nigerians' pension coverage has remained heavily skewed towards the formal sector, leaving a vast majority of workers, artisans, traders, farmers, and freelancers without any structure for retirement. Speaking at the annual conference of the Pension Correspondents Association of Nigeria in Abuja, the Director General of PENCOM, Omolola Oloworanran, who was represented by the Head of Corporate Communication at PENCOM, Ibrahim Buwai, reaffirmed the Commission's commitment to ensuring that every Nigerian, regardless of employment status, can look forward to secure retirement. She noted that Nigerian workforce is largely informal, yet this group remains severely undercovered.
Today, we reaffirm our commitment to ensuring that every Nigerian, whether formally employed or not, has the opportunity for a secure and dignified old age.
PENCOM says the new pension plan came from the need to redesign the old micro-pension scheme and make it more flexible, digital and inclusive, ensuring that people with irregular incomes can register easily and contribute at their own pace, noting that the new framework offers simplified registration, mobile-based contribution channels, and flexible saving options. PENCOM believes this innovation will encourage millions who previously saw pension as complicated or inaccessible to come on board.
What the personal pension plan has done is that it now brings even the voluntary contributions segment that the formal sector employees hitherto made under the formal CPS. Those contributions will now be captured under the personal pension plan. And the idea really is to offer more flexibility.
Earlier, the President, Pension Correspondents Association of Nigeria, Nana Musa, says there is need for public awareness, trust building, and technology-driven systems to deepen participation nationwide. Musa commended ongoing reform but insists that only sustained engagement, education, and policy support will convince millions of informal workers to embrace pension savings.
Dedicated to deepening public understanding of pension matters, we believe in closing this gap is central to achieving sustainable social security, reducing poverty, and promoting inclusive growth.
With the new plans, pension hopes to grow long-term savings, strengthen financial inclusion, and secure the future of millions of Nigerians who currently have no retirement support structure. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
And joining me right now to delve into this conversation and tell us what's really happening there, we have Kike Lomo Okeri join me. Kike Lomo, it's good to have you on the Reporter. How have you been?
Anita, how are you? Good to see you.
You sound really great. It's good to have you on the Reporter. But let's quickly get into what PENCOM is looking at. Do you think PENCOM's revamped personal pension plan will convince informal workers like traders, artisans, and freelancers to start saving for retirement? And why would they not do that?
See, the thing is, 80 million of informal sector form the workforce in Nigeria. And what PENCOM is trying to do right now is to get them into personal plan pension so that they can have a retirement plan. Because what they actually have on ground was for the formal sector. So what they are trying to do now is to get everybody involved, artisan, plumber, what have you, so that that's 1 naira that you're saving, that's 50 naira that you're eating with, you can as well be saving it so that you can plan towards the future and as well bridge the gap between poverty.
Okay, so let's look at the key factor. Okay, go ahead.
But what I think that the pension needs to do right now, they need proper awareness campaign, and they need to do more of educating people on how to go about this thing, because people, to trust people with money nowadays is very, very difficult. That's why they are talking about the micro pension plan, which was launched in 2019, though it was for modest result of about 200,000 contributors to roughly 1 billion naira. But what they are saying now is that they want to expand it. They want to inculcate about 80 million Nigerians so that they can as well enjoy from this. It is designed for more flexibility, innovative, and it will be technology driven according to them.
Okay, well, Kike, that's it, because I see that I was trying to ask you about the key factor that you believe is most important for getting 80 million informal workers to embrace the pension savings. For instance, the technology, trust building, or public awareness, because like you mentioned, advocacy, more awareness needs to be created for people to understand how savings can come in. But let's look at the PENCOM thing itself. I've seen the retired police force saying they should take them out of PENCOM, but here's PENCOM calling for more people to join into the scheme. So don't you think there are fears around that?
Actually, they have some issue. Some retired police officers, they're actually demanding for their arrears and all that. But I think what PENCOM is now trying to do is to get more people, more workforce, more informal workers into the retirement savings system, so that they can as well revamp the pension personal plan for them to plan their retirement ahead of time. But I think the problem between the retired police officers and the pension will be resolved appropriately according to pension.
Okay, thank you so much, Kike Lomo, for being a part of this and also bringing us up to speed. We hope that you have a lovely day ahead of you. Thank you so much, Kike. So let's move away from that and look at a bit of politics and what's playing around. Like I mentioned earlier, the issue around the naval officer with the Minister of FCT. However, the 2023 presidential candidate of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, Dumebi Kachiku, has called on Nigerians to support the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory in his drive to rid the FCT of land grabbing and illegal land takeover. Global TV's political correspondent Ubong Usoro tells us more.
The 2023 presidential candidate of the African Democratic Congress, Dumebi Kachiku, criticized the attacks directed at the minister, describing them as unfair and dangerous for the rule of law. He says defending illegalities must not be encouraged.
They finally believe they have the minister where they want him, defenseless. Today, I weep for Nigeria because we are becoming a nation of people fueled by hate of anything government. The righteous indignation of this vocal minority calling for the minister's head is simply unacceptable to any right-thinking person.
According to him, if the same actions were taken by another minister, the public reaction would not be this intense, raising questions about whether the backlash is truly about justice or driven by personal sentiment. He also faulted the minister's colleagues for failing to publicly support him during the controversy and urged President Bola Tinubu to take a clear stand on the matter.
The narrative would have been different if a different minister was involved in this drama. Absolutely yes. We will all see the fact that the minister was provoked into calling the officer a fool, and the officer was also provoked into calling police officers bloody policemen.
He added that if the minister does not receive the needed political backing, he should consider resigning rather than presiding over a system that undermines law and order. Ubong Usoro for Global Television News.
And joining us now is our correspondent, Ubong Usoro, to give us more on that report, because like I said, there's a lot of reaction following that encounter between the FCT minister, and this is one coming from Dumebi. Ubong, it's good to have you join us on the report. How are you doing? How is Abuja treating you?
I'm fine, I'm okay. Thank you so much, Aniette. It's always
Yeah, always a pleasure to have you here, Ubong. So let's quickly get into this. I got curious when I saw this particular press briefing.
I say it's always a pleasure to join you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ubong. Well, like I was curious and I was wondering why the reaction coming from you, why calling for the support. Let's say, could Dumebi Kachuku's endorsement for the FCT minister signal a broader political alignment ahead of future elections, and how might it influence public perception of the fight against land grabbing? Ubong, are you with me?
Right, so what Dumebi absolutely, I can hear you if you can hear me. What Dumebi Kachuku is saying is that the FCT minister acted within his rights as the minister. When it comes to land matters in the FCT, he is the custodian of all lands, and he acted within the conduit of the law to have gone to that site. And albeit the site was owned by a Nigerian and a private individual, a retired vice admiral in the Navy. So as to that, the FCT minister is saying that Dumebi is saying that the conduct of the FCT minister was in line with stated rules and standard procedure, and the only person that has done something that is wrong is the soldier, the Navy officer who refused the FCT minister who was representing the president at the time entering into the land for official duties.
Well, if you look at that perspective, does Kachuku's condemnation of attacks on the FCT minister highlight the growing political divide over enforcement of land laws in the Federal Capital Territory? Because this is a whole lot surrounding this part, and this conversation is one of the longest trending conversation right now across board here in the FCT and even across the nation.
Yeah, I think like the FCT minister said, we have problems of enforcement because sometimes when you want to enforce these things, especially to people who are high up there, you face these challenges as to some people feel that they are above the law in Nigeria. In fact, a lot of persons who have means feel that they are above the law in Nigeria. And this is something we see in all sectors, from the health to education. People try to cut corners because they think I'm this, I'm X, my father is this, my mother is this. And that's the culture of impunity that we've constantly seen in Nigeria. And maybe mention the fact that is it because it is yes some wicked that is involved, and a lot of persons may not like his guts, may not like his man of approach. If it was another minister, maybe people will not be so furious about it, and the public sentiment will go in his favor. So those were some suggestions that it may be actually made. But on the whole, we called on Nigerians to place competence above ethnic, tribal, or even a political sentiment.
All right, thank you so much, Ubong, sir, for bringing us up to speed on that particular story. Well, we see, like I said, the trend is still going on. Let's see how this pans out at the end of the day. Thank you so much, Ubong.
Thank you, Anita, for having
me.
All right, let's still stay on this particular conversation. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, says he has great respect for the Nigerian military, but their operations must remain within the confines of the law. His comments follow the recent confrontation with a naval officer over a disputed land in Gadua District, Abuja. Yes, Kabir Hassan with more. So while we wait for Kabir Hassan's report to come in, there's, like I said, this story has fanned too much across the field. If you look at the social media space has gone agog with a whole lot of content creation. I said Nigerians, I trust my Nigerians, they always have something to always bring to the table when something comes in. But we're looking at the perspective of all of this. The role of the naval officer, the role of the FCT minister, in all of this, is a way of taking the solution to all of this. But let's see, Kabir takes up, and then we'll have Kabir join us, and let's hear his perspective from that briefing with the FCT minister. Please stay with us.
It was a tense exchange between officials of the Federal Capital Territory Administration and a naval officer, Ahmed Yerima. An incident that stirred fresh debates about land ownership and authorities in the nation's capital. Clarifying the matter, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike says the military has no documented ownership of the disputed land, and that impunity or unlawful conduct, even by government officials, will not be tolerated.
We can never succeed if we continue to allow
impunity, lawlessness, no country, no matter how hard you work, you allow impunity, you allow lawlessness to continue to prevail, that country will never go anywhere.
The minister commended former leaders and retired generals of their discipline and civility in resolving issues through dialogue rather than force. He believes that controversy may have been fueled by political opponents unhappy with the style of leadership, but reaffirmed his commitment to President Bola Tinubu's Real Hope agenda on the ongoing development of the FCT.
I respect the institutions, and I know what it takes. Even as a governor, no governor will say that they supported the military that more than me.
The minister emphasizes that his administration will continue to enforce the law in ensuring that all development in the Federal Capital Territory follow due process. Kabir Hassan reported for Global TV News.
Joining me live in the studio is Kabir Hassan, who was there at the briefing and wants to talk to us about how the social media is getting agog with all of the conversation around. Kabir, it's good to have you in the studio.
It's good to have you.
All right, so let's get to this conversation. A lot of Nigerians have had their mixed reactions. Many Nigerians have shared opinions between the face-off, between the minister and now. I know that you're eager to talk to me because you cover the FCT, so you understand. But what are the main concerns, or should we call support points, you've seen from public reactions that you think are not tenable to the minister's reaction?
Well, we can say that from the minister's reaction, what the Nigerians are saying based on the comments on social media and all, the minister manner of approach wasn't good, and some people are saying they are even supporting the naval officer for standing to his ground, which, if you follow what's happening and did an investigation on actually what caused the main issue, okay, the land doesn't have any allocated documents. Okay. The land, they just sell. So someone sold the land to them without any proper documentation. Okay. While there was no proper documentation for the land is the building of that land is not even approved by the FCDA. Okay. Yes. So then earlier, when the FCDA, the Development Control Department of the FCTA, saw an unapproved land going on in Abuja, they went ahead to tell the developers of the land that this land doesn't have any allocated papers. Go to the FCDA and get a papers before you continue your document, which the Development Control marked as stop work till you get the papers. But the developers of the land did not listen to them and they went ahead. The Development Control needs to go and remind them that this is what is happening currently. So the developers threaten action on any of them that come back to that land again. So they now went ahead and tell the minister that this was happening. So the minister now went ahead. That was the reason for the action.
Okay, so let's look at this conversation, because what I see right now is that you have spoken from the perspective of what led to that particular issue and why it had to go in that format. But the reaction Nigerians are saying is that it is the approach. You are a public office holder as a minister. This is a naval officer who is also in uniform. You understand? So like you said, approach is one thing. Nobody is saying they were not both at the point of their duty, but there are better ways. If you check across the social medias where Nigerians had to bring back incidences, similar scenarios that showed that. In your opinion, as a Nigerian this time around, in your opinion, was the approach from both sides balanced at all?
Yeah, well, what I can say is the approach from me personally, I don't see weakest faults from that, but the manner of approach he used in approaching the
naval officer, that was what was wrong.
Okay.
Yes, I'd not support that, because you can't come up and talk, no matter how powerful you are, you can't walk up to someone and be talking to him like that. So the manner of approach is not okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but because the minister went out to carry his ministerial duties,
and he also went to this. He's also standing on to the right order to say yes, sir, because that's the standing order he was given, not to give way for that kind of approach. All right. Well, thank you so much, Kabir, because that wanted to establish the fact that they were both doing their jobs assigned. All right, thank you so much, Gabriel. It's it, and that's the size of the program on The Reporter today. We say thank you for being a part of the program. For a quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and on Star Times channel 276. To stay connected, kindly follow us across all our social media platforms now showing on your screen using @Global TV NG. Until I come your way the next time, I am Anieti Patrick. Have a lovely day ahead of you.